to talk to you a little bit about nutrition. For those of you guys that know me, I'm a dietitian. That's kind of what I went to school for. And so I've always been a strong advocate for multivitamins and fish oil, calcium and vitamin D, especially as a female. And so I love vitamins, but today I'm going to talk a little bit about something different. I'm not going to talk about filling nutritional gaps with those things. I'm actually going to talk about what food waste looks like. And so one of the things that I really feel strongly about is, and we're all like this, when we have our kids go out trick-or-treating, we save the candy, right? Because we don't want to throw it away. We want to save it until we're at a point in our life where it's more appropriate to eat it, right? Once we hit a certain weight or once we're not on this diet, then we can have some of that stuff. The same with 10 boxes of Girl Scout cookies that I have hiding in our pantry closet on the bottom. The same way with Christmas cookies. The same way with when we go out and drink beer. So what I want to talk about is waste. So when we go out to eat, when we go out with friends and we're drinking or we're eating, or when we're talking about those Christmas cookies or those Halloween pieces of candy, know that when your body reaches a point at which you have fueled it enough, anything beyond that is going to be considered waste, right? We store wasted and excess calories as fat. And so when we say, oh, you know, I'm hanging out with some friends, I need to finish this beer because I paid for it, you are just fine leaving that beer on the table, right? And wasting it that way. Because whether you leave it on the table and leave it half full because you gotta go, or if you drink it because you don't wanna waste it, you're actually wasting it in both ways. So when I talk about that Christmas candy or that Halloween candy and those Christmas cookies, throw them away. Get them out of your house because they are going to be wasted regardless. Now, I am a firm believer in enjoying everything in life, right? I am the first one to eat those kinds of things. But if they're in my house and I eat them because I want them, or I feel like I'm depriving myself and I need to eat them, you know, that's one thing. I don't ever want you to feel deprived, but don't ever feel like you need to eat those things because you're otherwise gonna waste them, if that makes sense. And so my advice is to leave the beer half full, throw away your Christmas candy, throw away those, or the Christmas cookies and your Halloween candy. Just get rid of it, get it out of your house, and remember that once you reach your caloric needs, any excess is waste, stored as fat or thrown away. So.
Hey Fit Club, it's Coach Jackie. I'm going to explain to you guys some 4 full body cool down stretches that you can do after each of the push or pull classes. They will help you keep the flexibility and the mobility that you gain, but it will also help you recover for your next training session. The first one is called the half kneeling bench hip stretch. It will help with hip extension while engaging the glutes. Can also help with lower back pain, as well as getting into further depth for your lunges and squats in the future. What you need to do is first put with a bench or a box, put your back foot up, flat down and relaxed. Step out as if you're going to be doing a lunge. Come on down and bring the knee to the ground, and the opposite knee is at 90 degrees. Don't forget to squeeze the glute of the foot that is up, and do not arch your back. Not gonna lie, I obviously have tight hip flexors. This one was very difficult for me. So I would love for you to give this one a try on both sides. The doorway chest stretch. It can help avoid neck and shoulder, elbow aches and pains, along with helping with your posture. Place your hand straight out with the hand on the doorway. You can do 2 different stretches here. Palm flat against the doorway, or the palm facing up in a external rotation. We'll feel a little bit of a different stretch in each area, that shoulder or the bicep. Remember to engage your back while you're doing this one to protect that shoulder. Do not force it. Third exercise is called the lying QL stretch. It helps with the SI joint pain where the lower spine meets the pelvis, and it stretches the quadratus lumborum. That is actually can be found on either side of the spine at the small of your back. It can also help with stretching of the piriformis, which is where the lower spine meets the femur. Using the pictures as an example, start on the ground, lying flat, both arms outstretched to each side. With both knees facing one direction, take the opposite ankle over the opposite knee and use that as leverage to push down. Keep the knee that you're stretching in line with the hip at all times. Also try to keep the shoulders on the ground. Fourth and final exercise is called the child's pose with external rotation. This one hits the lats and the lower back by helping to stretch the lats actually pretty deeply by using the external rotation. Set up, start with a kneel on the ground, then sit back on your heels with your feet flat down and toes pointed. Reach your arms outstretched overhead onto the ground and relax. Finally, rotate the palms toward the sky, pointing the thumbs up and rotation. For each of these exercises, you can hold them for 30 to 45 seconds per stretch per side. Don't forget to breathe into these and relax. Enjoy as your mobility, flexibility, and your recovery improve with each stretching session.
All right, guys, let's talk about stress. So everybody has stress. It's an occurrence, a daily occurrence that none of us can escape. So it is something that we are all going to experience. Our body responds to those external factors with stress. Even taking a look at your food. So some of the food we eat can cause a lot of stress because what happens, we have this neurotransmitter serotonin. Okay, serotonin, the receptors are in our gut. So when we eat like the highly processed foods, the high sugary foods, even the artificially sweetened foods, that disrupts our microbiome in our gut biome. And that is what happens is that those serotonin receptors get all messed up. And then that is a direct correlation between your emotion and the food we eat. How do we combat stress? That's what we're gonna look at today. We're gonna look at adaptogens. Adaptogens are like herb, roots, and other plant substances like mushrooms. They've been used for years that help our bodies adapt, adaptogens, and maintain stress. So it restores our body to homeostasis during a stressful event. Not all herbs are adaptogens, okay? There's three main things that have to qualify an herb to be an adaptogen, okay? So first one, has to be non-toxic at the standard dose, okay? Standard dose, non-toxic. Second thing is it has to support the entire body's ability to cope with stress. And the third is it has to help it return to a stable or homeostasis state, okay? Our body likes equal. It likes to maintain a stable line throughout the day. So when we've got those external factors that come in, that stress level rises, our body doesn't like that. It wants to maintain a stable state. People have been taking adaptogens for years. They take them in capsule form, they drink them in teas, they add them to soups, they add them to smoothies and other foods. Let's take a look at some of the most common adaptogens. Some of these might actually be pretty familiar. So the most common adaptogens found that we eat in food today are gonna be turmeric. It's a huge one. Maca powder or maca root, and then mushrooms. There are ones that might not be so common to hear. Ashwagandha. So it helps to reduce anxiety and depression. It has also been known to aid in weight loss. So in ginseng, huge, okay? So either American or Asian ginseng, it's used to combat fatigue. So another common one is reishi. It's a mushroom adaptogen, and it actually boosts the immune system. And some studies actually show it can fight cancer. Rhodiola, it's used to fight fatigue, depression, and actually pain management. Two more here. We've got tulsi, which is also known as holy basil. This is a more commonly known name that increases focus, decreases anxiety, and also boosts that immune system. And last one, Saxandra is used to improve concentration, coordination, and endurance. So those are all really common adaptogens that are used daily by a lot of people. So important things to remember. They are not regulated by the FDA. There's not a lot of studies showing their safety, the dosing, all of that. And another thing, many can and will interact with current medications that you may be on. So it's always important to check with your physician, check with your doctor before you start any herbal over-the-counter supplements. Really just get a plan in place with them. So adaptogens, helping our body adapt to daily stress.